Hey guys, I'm Red, and this beautiful piece of plastic sitting right in front of me is Lego Sonic, set number 76991, released in 2023 for $40 with 376 pieces and 4 minifigures, I think. I would say there's 2, Tails and Sonic, obviously, but technically the Buzz Bomber and Clucky are counted as minifigures. But anyway, there's only one exclusive minifigure, and I don't have the original box, so a picture of it will be in the top left. And let's just get right started with our minifigures. Minifigure number 1 is Clucky here, and it's just like a baby chicken, so I think the motive's really cool. I like the little orange feet he has there and his just very little beak there. I think that's pretty cool. He does have that red thing on top of his head. And there is like a Lego Friends hole in the top there, so you can add like a bow or, glasses or whatever you need for Clucky here, but I think it's pretty cool. Up next here is the Buzz Bomber, and I really like the build. I think it's really solid. It's all on this kind of clear, there's a 1x1 cylinder and a base plate there with a bar going up the 2x2 modified plate. So I think it all works really well. It stands really well. And there is just a lot of like bars and clips here. So you can add the wings and this little front thing so you can put Clucky in the thing there. So yeah, and he does have a 1x2 cheese slope printed eyes, and he has some lights on the top of his head there. So overall, it looks pretty cool. I don't know if it counts as a minifigure, but I think it kind of does. Also, if you put Clucky in there, he doesn't really like sit, so he kind of shakes around a little bit, but it still works. Our first actual minifigure here is Tails, and I really like this figure. I like his color, that kind of like maybe like bright yellow, or I don't know what that color officially is, but he has a pretty cool molded head with these big, beautiful blue eyes there. You can see he has this like white piece there on the bottom of his head. He has a little bit of printing on his chest there, and he has beautifully done dual molded legs with his red shoes there. And he does have just basic arms because, he's an animal, so he doesn't have anything on his arms. And he has this beautiful double tail mold here. It just connects to his waist like any other tail would, and it just works really, really well. And I really like this figure. Up next, here is the main character. Of course, this is Sonic the Hedgehog, and I really, really like this figure. This figure is beautiful. Of course, he has the same molded head as we saw in Lego Dimensions, but this time it's posed a little bit different. So he has the one closed eye, and the mouth is off to the left there. And you can see his green eye is open. Same as Tails, he has a little bit of torso printing, just adds that spot of tan on his chest there. He does, of course, have tan arms, and his white gloves look really nice. He does have his iconic red shoes with some side leg printing that you can barely see just at the bottom of his shoe there. I think that's really nice detail that they didn't have to add, but they still did it anyway, and it works very, very well. And he does have a little bit of back printing. You can see his tail, and then more like a, I guess, hedgehog detailing. I don't know. So with a beautiful lineup of minifigures, I really, really enjoy these all. The Buzz Bomber is the exclusive one, so kind of minifigure, kind of not, is exclusive. Tails and Sonic came in other sets, but still, for, $40, you can't really complain about that. And finally, here is the set itself, and there's a lot going on here. So where should we start? Maybe we should start with these smaller side builds here. The easiest and simplest of the bunch are these few rings here that, Sonic can easily run and collect all of them, but, there's not much going on here, so. Up next is a small little lounging chair here, made up of these 1x2 palisade bricks and a 2x3 plate, and there's just a few clips and tiles, like the 1x2 cheese slope and the 2x2 slope piece there. And then, super easy, we take our Sonic minifigure. He can just lounge and, like, maybe dream of Amy or chili dogs or, something that Sonic would like. And finally, for our side builds here is Tails' little, cart, his tool cart. So if we pick it up, you can see it just has a few wheels on the bottom there, and he has a hammer and a wrench there. Always got to carry your tools around. There's a couple of jumper plates with this beautifully 1x2 printed tile and this 1x1 like peppermint piece. I don't know exactly what that's called, but if we shake it up, you can hear there's something inside. And there's nothing too exciting, it's just another one of those peppermint pieces. And then in the other one, if we can get it open, there's nothing inside the top drawer. Up first for our main builds, of course, is the Tornado, and I really like this build. I think it's basically perfect. Like, I think it's really nice with all of its tiled off, like, main wing pieces here, and all the angles that it has going on. So, I think we should start up front. Up front, of course, is the yellow propeller, and super easy. It spins, and I guess you could spin the cylinder that it's attached to. The flat, dark gray, not gunmetal gray. You can spin that if you want to, but that's not technically a play feature. The wings are identical on both sides, so it's just all different types of slope pieces, like the cheese slopes, the 2x2 slopes, and the longer slopes, and you get the cut ones of towards the end there too. And there are some bars to support it in the middle there. So there's just a 1x2 hollow stud on the top and bottom. And then the same thing on the other side. Super easy, you know, looks really nice. And I really like it. It's simple, but effective. And then on the top just continues the pattern from the bottom. But of course, in the middle there, you can see there's a couple studs exposed. And that, of course, is where our famous blue hedgehog can stand and, you know, have tails fly the plane. And then you can, I don't know, jump onto the death egg or something. On the cockpit here, you can see there's a little 2x2 area for tails there with a lever and this kind of glass piece there so we can see where he's flying. And, you know, nothing too crazy going on there. But since Tails can't actually, you know, sit down because of his short legs, he just kind of ends up standing on the plane and he, you know, can't really see. But still, I think it works. If we move more towards the end of the plane there, you can see that massive curved slope piece there. Just makes up the ends on both sides, kind of curves it all together. And then there are some angled like wedge pieces here. And then of course there are some jumpers in the middle to put this end piece here in the middle. So you get some red and white striped patterns with a 2x2 printed piece of the Double Tails logo there. I think it works pretty well. It looks pretty cool. And of course what the set is meant for, it is a plane, so you have to, you know, swoosh it around a little bit and it will not break upon re-entry or takeoff. So I think it works really well and it looks really nice. And of course, the main feature of this set is Tails' workshop. And again, I think it works really nice. I really like the, you know, Sonic buildings that we have. So on the outside here, nothing too much going on. But there is a 2x6 area of grass, and you get a couple flowers on both sides there. And then you get a lot of these kind of, maybe that's like dark orange and tan pieces to make up the outside. And you get this bright yellow, you know, kind of give it more detail, and it looks really nice with the dark blue. I really like how they had these massive pieces with the 1x3 to connect them. So I really like both of those two sections. But the main middle section here, obviously the entrance. So you get these few angled slope pieces to, you know, have like maybe a car or like Sonic roll through. You know, works pretty well. And moving up, you can see another one of those printed pieces with the whole white area surrounding it. So it looks really nice on the outside. And of course we can close it up because it is on a few hinge pieces there, so works really well, but I always like to open it so you get the whole effect. And of course, once we walk through the door, you get this really nice, like, maybe it's a keypad or a, you know, password lock or something, but it's a 1x2 printed tile and it looks really nice. You get that kind of, I don't know what that's called at the bottom there, but you get like this matrix-y thing going on there, so I really like it. It's really nice. And it is just connected on a hinge piece there with the bar element. So, looks really nice. On the left side of the interior here is kind of like his, you know, science workshop here. So on the top is a 1x2 cheese slope with more printed details. I really like that. That's really nice to get. And of course a like computer terminal here so we can do research on the yellow Chaos Emerald. So it's good to get that in a set. And there's kind of like this weird grabby robot arm here. So, you know, just a little detail going on the sciencey section over here, but it looks really nice. And I think here's the actual workshop station on the right side. So you get a couple more tools, and you get just maybe like a bottle of water and a plant there, and then a 2x2 jumper to, you know, do more research on the Chaos Emerald, like what will happen if it's exposed to life or water, I think. I don't know. Or I guess this could also be where, you know, Sonic eats. And there's not like too much detailing going on here, but of course it is just a $40 set. It is targeted towards the little kids, so, you know, it's not too detailed, but I think it works really well. And of course, their two minifigures add a lot more to the set, so we can't complain too much about this one. So there you go. That's really all I have to say about this Lego Sonic set. It is my only Lego Sonic set, but I think, you know, for what you get for $40, I think it's really nice. You know, for kind of two minifigures. I don't know. I'm not really sure about that one, but yeah, you get a lot going on here, and you know, 376 pieces. Can't complain about that one at all. But most importantly, what do you guys think about this Lego set? Why don't you leave a comment down below and let me know. And right down there, hit like, subscribe. It's easy, it's free. And I don't know what our next video is going to be yet, but it'll be something just as exciting as this.